Hello again, brewers. So, going to do a little bit of a product review today for this, the Bulldog grain mill. It's the first grain mill that I've owned, and I've basically gone for one of the cheapest ones I could find, so hopefully it will be decent, but we'll have a look at it today and see what it looks like and do a little tester on it to see how well it performs as well. So we'll just open up the box and have a look inside, see what we've got. I managed to find this on eBay for £86, I believe, and that was from Ballyhoo Brewing. So a little bit of instructions there, not much, so should be fairly simple to put it together though. As you can see, it comes with the wooden base, not finished in any way, and a little bit roughly routed out there for the hole in the middle. It's got some little feet there on the corners, so that will help it sit on the bucket without sliding off, hopefully. If we turn it over, we can have a good look at the roller mechanism there. Feels reassuringly hefty, and those rollers are solid metal, I believe. So that looks okay at the moment. These little metal panels at the side seem to be a little bit not flush to the body of the mill itself, but can't see why that would affect how it operates in any way. And there's a spindle there which you can obviously either attach the hand crank to, or a little adjuster, adapter even, to allow you to put a drill on there. Those bits you can see here, so there's your hand crank, nice wooden handle, and then there's an adapter there so that you can use that with a drill chuck. Then we've got the parts for our hopper, which should hold up to 7 litres worth of grain. Not sure what that will translate to in terms of kilos, but we'll find out. And just some nuts and bolts there to assemble it all together. So I'm going to build that now and then come back to it when it's all assembled and show you the finished article. So there's the finished product. Assembly pretty easy, to be honest. Took about 20 minutes, I guess, to put it all together. These little screws and bolts here for the hopper are a little bit small and fiddly. Other than that, it's pretty simple to put together. Inside the hopper there are a couple of extra little slats here to direct the grain into the rollers. It's not totally clear at all on the instructions where those are supposed to go, but obviously it's pretty easy to work that out for yourself. But they do go on the inside there, so that just stops the grain sort of falling down the sides of the rollers on the other side. So yeah, that's ready to go now. I've got the hand crank attached first to try that out, so I'll give it a little test in a minute with some grain and see how it performs. Okay, so just before we run some grain through this to test it, we want to check that the roller gap is set somewhere in a reasonable range for crushing the grain. The factory setting is probably going to be something like around 1 millimetre on the gap, which is about 0.04 of an inch. I'm going to set it slightly narrower than that, just based on some information that I've found online about optimum settings. So you'll need a feeler gauge to measure this accurately, which allows you to basically measure the gap by putting the feeler gauge into the two rollers. So as you can see there, if it fits snugly between the two rollers, then that is pretty close to that measurement for the setting. Did have to slightly tweak the adjustment screws here in order to get that settings, so obviously make sure that you adjust those evenly and measure the crush gap at both ends of the rollers so you get a nice even crush on the grain. So here we have 1 kilo of Ireland's finest pale ale malt ready to go into the hopper there. So we were at 1 kilo a second ago. We've lost a gram there, but close enough. So the instructions claim that this will do about 1 kilo a minute using the hand crank. So that's grain in there, and test that out. So I'll do a little timer and using the hand winch crush that through and see how long it takes. Okay, the timer's off and running, so let's give it a go. Okay, and that's all done. So that was pretty much a minute exactly. And as you can see, that was a bit harder work than I expected, so that was flying around all over the place at first. Probably not the most stable way to have it set up, but yeah, that's quite hard work. I think that would burn a few calories if you're going for a big grain bill. I'll try it out with 1 kilo using the hand drill next and see how much easier that is. So it's nice and easy to fit the adapter there for the hand drill. Just need a 5mm Allen key to tighten up that bolt there, and then you can fit your drill chuck straight onto this hexagonal spindle at the end of it. So that's only taken 30 seconds to swap that over from the handle. Right, so that's 1 kilo more of grain in there with the cordless drill attached onto the spindle. That's just a budget 14-volt cordless drill, so we'll just start the timer and then give that a go. Okay, so that's finished now, and that's done that in just slightly over 30 seconds. So that's pretty good going. Bit quicker than the stated speed of 1.5 kilos a minute. So yeah, pretty impressed with that. So I'll just have a look at the crush that mill has produced there. So remember, the rollers were set just slightly narrower than the factory setting at about 0.9 mils or 0.035 of an inch. That looks quite a fine crush there to me, but there's still a few holes there in it to help with the filtering in the grain bed, so hopefully that should work quite nicely in the mash tun. Just a little bit finer, I would say, than the sort of crush that I get when I order those grains pre-crushed from the supplier. So yeah, that looks like it will work quite well. In terms of the mill itself, the hopper there is 7 litres. I think that would probably just about squeeze in about 4 kilos of grain, based on how full it looked when I've just used it there. So maybe just one slight criticism, that could probably be just a little bit bigger to enable you to get sort of 5 or 6 kilos in one go if you're doing a slightly stronger batch or higher ABV beer. Other than that, pretty happy with how that works, and good value for money in my mind. So yeah, good purchase, I reckon.